Okay, we're going to be starting very briefly, guys, in less than a minute. Welcome, everybody. I'm Calvin Leduc, head of the faculty here at VANAS, and I'm going to talk briefly about the school, and then I'll introduce our guest speaker. Give me one sec here. I want to be sharing our school site. So the Vancouver Animation School is also known as VANAS. We've been around for 14 years now. We're actually the oldest online animation school here in Canada. We're in British Columbia. Started with just 2 courses. Now we're up to 11 one-year diploma courses. We're all online. Now we have 2D computer animation using Adobe Animate. We do 3D computer animation using the industry standard, which is Maya. If you know how to animate already, you can come and make an animated short film. We have concept art. Our special guest today, Fran, can tell you more about what concept art is. We have this new course called Production Management, which we're practically the only school I know of that teaches production management. It's how to be a manager in a studio. We have an introductory course called Intro to Digital Arts. If you've never done online training or digital art, this is a 3-month course that will introduce you, and you can figure out what you would like to do. We do have this other course, Writing for Animation. This is a short 3-month course on creating your own pitch Bible for a TV series. And professional career development. If you've already completed your digital education, this is a great 1-month course on the final steps. You know, how do you put together your resume? How do you properly do an interview? All of that good stuff. We have esports. Now, it's not how to play video games. It's how to be a manager of a esports team and how to put on tournaments. Video game design, what it sounds like, you are actually creating video games. You're not just learning how to model a car or a character. You're building 2D and 3D video games. The future, virtual reality, right? Using virtual reality, you're learning how to draw, paint, model, and animate in virtual reality. All of our courses are 1 year in duration. 3D modeling, we're not using, well, you do start with Maya. It's the 3D industry standard, but you go up to high-end modeling using ZBrush. Digital matte painting, usually you could only learn this in Europe, but we offer it online here because the industry couldn't find enough matte painters. Effects animation, again, it's very high-end. That's what we are tailoring and focusing on. We are doing it in Houdini, not just Maya, which the industry doesn't really use. All right, so our special guest today, and I can stop sharing and you can take over, is Fran Delgado. Okay. You can talk more about your history, your education, and your work, but I know Fran as a art director for a television series. Welcome, Fran.
Thank you, Calvin, and hello, everybody. As Calvin just said, my name is Francine Delgado, but people call me Fran. And so that's one thing that, oh, let me share my screen. Sorry. Give me 1 second. I haven't clicked. Sure. Okay, supposedly I'm sharing. Let me know
it's up on the top. Just click on the word share and then pick which screen you want to be sharing.
Okay. This. Okay. Just let me know if you can all see what I'm sharing.
Yes.
Well, as I was saying, my name is Francine Delgado, and I'm very glad that I'm here today to talk a little bit about art commissions with everybody here. Um, the idea of why I was very excited about talking about this subject is because my background and what I do. Uh, I'm a Costa Rican-born Canadian citizen, and I have been working in the industry for the last 7 years or so. But before working in the animation industry, I also had another career. I I was and I'm still, I think I was because I never consider myself fully a fashion designer. But I had a diploma in fashion design and in graphic design. And those things, although are very creative and they are very interesting, were not where my passion lies. Uh, I have been at this moment in my life, when I was still back in Costa Rica, I knew I wanted to do something on the entertainment industry, and I started looking into animation. I grew up, as many of you may did as well, watching TV and cartoons, and loving these new worlds that were creating exciting adventures that characters were having in all these cartoons. And I wanted to be able to do the same, to create new worlds, to make up characters that other people, kids now, can grow up watching, and when they become older, think about that the way that I think about the cartoons that I watched when I was a kid. That took me to looking into concept art. And one thing that Calvin didn't mention is that I'm a VANAS ex-alumni. I think probably I was on the first concept art diploma course, like back on 2012, like years ago. But this concept art course, opened the world to me into this concept world, entertainment industry. I knew about animation, and I had friends that they were working in animation. And at the time, I was doing animation myself back in Costa Rica, but for advertisements. And I really wanted to be for entertainment. So after I finished studying concept art, uh, and because of my background as a fashion designer, I got a job offer in Canada, and is when I did the move. And since then, I have been living in Canada, in Vancouver, and that was like 2014. So I have a little bit over 11 years working in animation. I started as a character designer, and let's see, one of the things that I love when I was just starting is that my background as a fashion designer was very important, or at least this is what the recruiter told me. It was very important when they hired me because I knew fashion, and I was going to design for a show called Monster High at the time, that they were girls, very fashionable girls. So I started working as a character designer, and from there I moved to background designer, generalist designer. Then I become a lead designer, and eventually I grew up to be an art director as well. For many people, become an art director will be like the pinnacle of a design career. And although I love being an art director, and I love the intrinsic relationship of working with a team, I also, my other love were comics. And so all this time that I was working in the studio, I was also doing comic work myself and creating a comic work name by myself. And these things led me to start getting into the commission world. That's why I was all this explanation about what I've been doing and all this stuff. It was to land it on commission. And over here, we can see some of the titles that I worked on during my animation career. I have been working, as I mentioned, in TV, but also in feature films. And I had a great experience on this. I loved it. Would I keep doing it? Yeah, I keep doing it because it's something that I love. But also, I love comics, and these are some of the comic work I have been doing on this past 5 years or so. Because although my animation career started longer ago, I didn't jump or didn't bump into the professional comic world till probably 2021. I had some little experience here and there, but like professionally consider myself a comic book artist wasn't until 2021. So these are some of the projects I have been involved, either as an interior artist or either as a cover artist or both. All this brought me into the world of a commission. Of it, I didn't knew the word commission before I got into the comic book industry. But then the first time I heard this word commission, of course, what I think is what you see in the screen. I thought about the portraits that were commissioned by the big artists of the Renaissanceism. And I thought about the commission art that Michelangelo did for the church. And like biblical scenes, like this famous chapter 16 and things like that. That was the first thing I thought when people were saying commissions. And then, although this is not what we are talking today, it's important for us to know where this commission word come from and what is exactly a commission. Commissions become something very popular, and they move from wealthiest people and they move from the church to be a little bit more accessible. And by that, I mean like the government could commission artists to do some work, or like people like artists and pop stars commission other artists like Andy Warhol to do their portraits. But still, with everything, like normal people, we want to get our hands into this, and this move like to another movement when you don't need to be a government, you don't need to be the church, you don't need to be the wealthiest people of the world or an actor to ask for a commission. You can be a regular person or have a small business or a big business, and you can commission your favorite artist to do a work. So this type of commissions are the commissions we're going to talk today. The commissions we're going to talk today are like when an individual or a small company have a necessity for a creative work, and they have the idea of what they want, and they look for their favorite artist or an artist that they like their style, and they ask these artists to create a unique, customized piece for what they wanted. The slides that you have on the screen now are some examples of dear friends that they also work on commissions. Because one way, if you are an artist and you want to work on commissions, you cannot just wait for the universe to come to you with a commission. You have to let the universe know that you are taking commissions. So, for example, these are two of my friends, Catherine and well, she goes by other name online, but I'm gonna Christine. She's my friend Christine, and these two amazing women, they don't have commissions open all the time, but when they do, they create a specific artwork for social media to let their fans that they are opening X amount of slots to do commissions. And as an artist, what I wanted to land in here is like sometimes people that want to start working in commissions, they don't know how to do that first jump, and they are just like waiting for the universe to come to them, when you know that you are the one that have to give the first step. You have to go and let the universe know you are open for commissions. Well, now that we kind of know what a commission is, we know the history of commissions, and we understand that is when, as an artist, you have a person that is asking you to do an art for them. I'm going to talk to you about two study cases from real life of commissions that I work on. And going through this, I'm going to talk about the process of how I got approached to work on this commission. I'm going to talk about how much charging. I'm not going to tell you how much charging, but I'm going to tell you the process of how can you charge for your commissions. And other important things that when we are starting working on commissions, sometimes we don't know, or at least that was my case when I was starting, but now it's very clear to me that there are some legal precedents that you need to take in mind when you're working on commissions, and a little bit more. So the first case of study, it's about when an individual comes to you and asks you to do a work. It could be a friend of a friend, or it could be someone that on social media saw your art, uh, or it could be even your own friend. For example, in this case, in this specific case, the art that you see on screen is an art that I post in social media after the first season of It Takes Two. It's a Barbie show. There was the first time that I was being an art director, and it was for this show. So I create a customized poster for this, saying like, thank you to my team, thank you to Mattel and to everybody that believed in me to become an art director. And I did like a post in my social media about this and post this image, this Barbie image. Time passes, and one day I got an email from voice actress America Young, that is the voice of Barbie Malibu, the blonde one. And she saw my poster online, and she loved my style. She wanted me to create, she wanted me to create a specific piece for her that she can use on her signings. So this is a little bit different than when a regular person just asks you for a commission at a convention, but it's similar enough, so we can put it in one study case. Okay, so I have like a customer that approached to you with a project, with a proposal. She want me to do an art of Barbie Malibu for her to print on posters that she can use on her signings. So that is like the information that I get so far. So with this information, when you get the first email or the first contact of the person that wants you to create a job, with all this information, you need to start like putting on mind what is your price, and determine use it to determine here how many times you're going to work on it, knowing that it's a poster. In this case, is one character. I need to know like how much hours I'm going to put here. If she wanted a full color, if she want like just like a headshot or a full figure. So with all this information, you start knowing like, okay, this is the time that is going to take me. And this is very important because one of the simplest ways to charge for your work is like having an hour rate. I cannot tell you how much your hour is worth to you. You need to define that. But once you have your hourly rate and you did the math or calculate, okay, they want me to have 3 characters in a page, and it's going to take me this amount of time to do the research, this amount of time to do the work, and you have all those things in a paper. So you know, okay, it's going to take me a total of 8 hours, 3 days. You will know depending on which case. So you have the amount of time it's going to take you, and you have your hourly rate. And that is like simple math. So you know, like, okay, this is the amount of money I'm going to charge for this project. That'll be that simple. But here is when the tricky part comes. That is what I do when I am doing an illustration for somebody that want to put it on, want me to do the original character, or want me to draw Spider-Man or a character that I've been working professionally, like a Barbie or somebody else, but they wanted to hang it in their room. So he's like, okay, it's gonna take me this amount of, I already have like prices that I know it's gonna take me this amount of time. So I charge this for that. And that's easy. And we don't say anything else. We just shake hands. They give me the money, I give the art, that's it. But in this specific study case that I wanted to bring to you, there is something different. In this case, America, the voice actress, she wants the art not just to hang it up and leave it there. She wanted to use it for a specific purpose. She wants to sell these posters with her signature in her comic showings. So when things like this happen, you need to know that you have to add an extra value to your work because somebody else is going to be profiting from the work that you are doing. It's different when you are doing an art commission for a fan that when you're doing an art commission for even if it's a person when they are going to they want you to design something to put it in a t-shirt to sell the t-shirt. So the prices there, you have to value it. You have to value this value yourself and price different. You need to charge an extra amount because of this. And oh, one thing that you also need to take in mind, sorry, is my point over here, if you can see, add some extra time for revisions and contingencies. Yeah, even when you are like just making math for charging your basic prices. If you know it's gonna take you 4 hours, maybe charge for 5 because in case that the client asks you for feedback or something happens, so you know that okay, feedback is gonna be included, so you have an extra hour to do those changes. One thing that I wasn't doing at the beginning that I learned to do a little bit later on the commission game is like working with contracts. Because if I said somebody wants something, they're like, oh, you want me to draw, I don't know, Pikachu. Yeah, I can draw Pikachu for you. So they give me the money, I give him my Pikachu version, we shake hands, and that's it. But commissions start getting a little bit more complicated sometimes, like this Barbie case and other cases. So it's very important to work with a contract. And you will say, okay, we are not a lawyer, we don't know how to do contract. It doesn't necessarily need to be like a contract draft by a lawyer. A contract is a piece of paper when you establish like the rules of the game. So you're gonna need an introduction when you say, okay, I'm gonna do a Malibu poster with these characteristics, this size, color, blah. You explain what you're gonna do and for whom you are gonna do it. Then you have another part when you talk about how much that's going to cost and some specific agreements. For example, yeah, the commission work is going to be, I don't know, $500 or this commission work, and it's going to be paid half in advance and half when I deliver. Or you're going to be saying it's going to be paying 10% in advance. And see, it's like establish the rules when they are going to pay you and when you are going to deliver. So and contracts are not just important only for the artist that is getting the job, but also for the person that is asking for the commission. It protects both parties. So number two is that you need to add in a contract is the rights. For example, and this is very important, for this Malibu illustration, the rights are always going to be, when you do a commission for people, the rights are always going to be because it's your style, is your artistical intellectual property that you are putting there, and that artistical intellectual property cannot be sold or transferable unless they give you a lot of money and you said, yeah, it's okay, I give it away. But you need to explain in the rights, like the rights belongs to you. And for this specific case, it's important to say, okay, the reproduction rights of this work, you're going to allow reproduction rights to this person to do this thing. You need to be very specific. For example, yeah, America have the rights to reproduce this image in a form of print for her signings. But period, that's the rights you have. If she wants to do teachers or mugs or I don't know, rocks, or if you want to do more product with that art, that's not in the contract. Then they will have to renegotiate with you. And then there is also like number 4, it's a basic termination agreement, when you say things like, they need it for May the 5th, 2025, and you didn't deliver. So there is a termination, you give the money back, etc., etc. Or if the client decide that they don't want it, after you work and they give you the first installment, the first installment is not going to go back on negotiable because you already start doing some work. Just like, or saying like, okay, if after one sketch round they don't want the job, I give the money back. Just like to make the rules clear. This is what the contract works for. And it can look very complicated, but it is not. Like, this is an example of the contract that I was using for this project. I took away all the real information, of course, because to protect my client in this case. But there are things like that are important to know, like you have revision times, how many rounds of revisions you're going to add. So those things that you want to make very clear, because sometimes when you're working in a commission, if the client wants you to make a change, and they keep asking you for changes and changes, that extra hour you allow, remember that extra hour you charge, thinking in feedback. What about if that becomes 6 hours of feedback? So it took you 3 hours do the R, but 6 hours of feedback, you're going to be losing money. So that's why contracts are important, because you said how many rounds of feedbacks are allowed. And after the second or third round of feedback, if they approve this and then they want changes, oh, they need to pay extra. Things like that are important to add in this case. And then last but not least, this is a place like this web page is called like freelanceunion.org. It's a place that you guys can go. It's a free resource for freelancers. Then you can see and look for different types of legal documents that help creators and freelancers. Probably I have used it many times, depending on the type of job you need to do. So yeah, this is and there are a lot of resources online, but I like this one. Okay, number 3. So you have number 1, know your prices. Number 2, all the legal shenanigans and contracts, make it clear. And number 3, managing clients' expectations. It's very important, because if you have a client that is pushing you for a work and you do a good job, that client can become on a future client or a great reference, or could become someone that give a bad reference and tell other people, no, don't work with this person because this and that. So it's very important to have a cohesive and a good relationship with your client when you're doing a commission. And in this case, open communication can mean a lot of different things. What you can see here is like just a snap of all the emails I have with this client back and forward, like all the stuff we were talking, like because I knew what she needed this for, and I really want her to have the best signing poster. So we were talking a lot about different details. And when I was doing coloring, I remember that she was super open, because I art direct the shows. I knew a lot about the clothing the characters were wearing, etc., etc. And I was asking or telling her about details from the show, and she was just, oh yeah, let's do this. So we have just like a really big open email communication in this case. But it could mean a lot of different things. For you, maybe means like, if it's a client that lives close by, could mean like have a meeting one-on-one, have a coffee, talk about what you need. Like the first, like knowing the person, sometimes it's important knowing that person is real and exists. So it could it really could mean different things, but it's nonetheless is a very important part to having a cohesive relationship with your client in this case, to avoid disputes. And also it really helps for future reference. This is not in the study case, but I did another big commission for another voice actress after this one, and it's what it was all about. This first commission, America told another voice actress, oh yeah, this is my artist, she did this for me. And the other actress then contacted me telling me, oh, my friend America that you did the work for says you did this. Can you do one for me? So this is a real life example of having a good relationship with a client that then advise other of her peers to work with myself as well. And in this study case, I'm going to go speed it up a little bit. This is some of the process for the commission. I did 3 sketches for her. It was on the contract that I was going to give her 3 sketches. She was going to choose from here. What she asked is like she want me to do a mix between a sketch number 1 and a sketch number 2, because this character Malibu is a very friendly character. And then what I did is I grabbed 1 and 2 and I mix it up. And then in one of our emails, she was saying like it is possible that Malibu do like a love sign or something like that. So like, okay, so you can see I add that later to make sure it was part of the final product. And then once I have the line work done, I show it to her. She approved the line work, and after that, I use the first image she really likes for me as a reference for the colors, because that is one thing that she told me in the beginning, that she really likes the colors that I give to the first poster I did for my team, and this is the poster I did for her. I leave this space empty on purpose so she could do her signature there. And this was my case study case number 1, when an individual person comes to you.
Fran, we're gonna not have time for the second case study, but I do appreciate you doing all this hard work. We're gonna open it up to some questions now.
Okay, I knew I was taking too long. Sorry, sorry.
We'll live.
I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, if you have any question about this, I'm gonna have open my Instagram so you can ask me. And I swear, if you were in this webinar and you didn't get all the information, I will answer to you. I told you I talk too much.
Click under Q&A and people can enter their questions. Okay. And did you want me to read them out to you, or are you okay reading them?
Let me Q&A. Okay, I think maybe I have them here, but maybe you can read them, because I don't know if you have like an order that you want me to go for, or just answer
all right,
all.
Let's start. The first one is, with the rights, do you need to copyright your work, or is it automatically copyrighted once you've produced it?
With the rights, this is important. And this is something that I wanted to cover on the second example, because the second example is when I was working for characters that are copyrighted, for example. But with the rights, is like the style and the piece that you are creating is immediately, it belongs to you, because it's your intellectually is your IP, your intellectual property. But when you are working, for example, with a character that exists, like hence this one over here, it's for Gatchaman is the property. So the characters are not mine. The characters belongs to Tatsunoko, and Mattel has the license to work with it. But this image, this composition, this piece, I have the rights because I created and I signed it. You don't need to take it to an office to stamp it or anything. But the legal rights of the characters, of course, those characters are not mine, don't belong to me, belong to their creator or the person that buy the IP. Do that answer the question? Or?
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much. I'll come back to any questions I skip over. Is it better, and I can't see it right now, is it better to do a Comic-Con convention when you start, or advertise for conventions? Or should you set up an Etsy shop as a commission artist?
Oh, I think maybe you can do both. If you want to become if you want to do commissions and you are like a kind of like a full-time activity and job, I would recommend doing both, because when you go to comic conventions, there is a lot of networking there. You meet a lot of great creators, And sometimes just like writers and uh, publishers or editors are just walking on the halls and they see your work there. And yeah, you're online, but you're online, you're competing with the whole universe, with everybody in Earth. So in that convention, it becomes like a smaller pond. So it's easy for these people that need artwork done, see you there in a smaller pond than in a whole ocean that is internet. But also because internet is a whole ocean, you can open your own Etsy web, Etsy shop, because why not? It's a whole ocean. Somebody may find you there too.
Your next question, do you have any tips on reaching your audience and getting your name out there?
Um, yes. Basically, you need to put yourself out there. It's difficult because sometimes we're shy and artists don't want to put themselves out there. And I just want to do my illustrations and somebody find them there. But um, in my second study case, I was going to let you know about this job that I got that was working for this very cool marble tart. Uh, I will never got that job if it wouldn't be because I put myself out there. The guy that contacted me said that he saw my work in our station. And like, oh, okay. He was just looking through our station and he saw my work and he told like, oh, I like your style. I think you could be a good fit for this. And that's how I got approached. So if I wouldn't be posting everywhere, if I only post like on Instagram, he will never find me because he was looking on our station. So if you put yourself on different platforms, it's a lot of work putting yourself out there. But if you don't do that, how are people going to find you?
Hmm.
So you need to start trying to put as much things as you can. And that doesn't mean like somebody thinks like you need to be posting every day or making a reel every day. It's not about that. It's not about like quantity, because one thing that my social media manager told me a long time ago is like, if you post every day, yourself are creating noise for yourself. So you need to space out your posts and your reads and engage with people. Try to be honest about that and try to create a connection. If you want to do this like a full-time income source, it's very important to create a connection with the people that like your work, because probably you have things in common and that people could have other persons that that he can send you as a future clients or just people that you may like in general.
Now, the next one is, would you recommend a Kickstarter project to get noticed?
Okay, there is a lot of buzz on Kickstarter, and if you have the work done and you're looking to self-publish, Kickstarter is a great platform. But taking in mind again that there are so many comic book projects on Kickstarter now, and some of them are very popular. Not just popular, but some of them have been in Kickstarter for 10 years now or over 10 years. So there is people that have been doing their work and they grow an audience. So if you're going to do your first Kickstarter, first of all, set reasonable limits and goals. Try to get just enough money so you can print and grow your audience. One thing that it's one of the best advices that I have got on doing Kickstarter is create your mailing list. Start looking for people that is interested in your job and ask them if you can have their email to add them to your mailing list, and add them to your mailing list. And once a month, send an email to the people that is in your mailing list, reminding them what do you do, who you are, why they are getting this email from this stranger artist. Yeah, just introduce yourself in the email list, and then like once a month, keep keeping them informed of what you are doing new next. Yeah.
Good advice.
Before just doing the Kickstarter, because if you just do the Kickstarter, if you say like, yeah, my Kickstarter is the best and it's a great project, but you don't even have a mailing list and you have never been on Kickstarter before and you don't have a name for yourself, it doesn't matter how good your project is, probably it's gonna flop. So don't
Mhm.
do that.
Um, Tony's asking if you could share your mailing list. Did you want to type that into the chat? It's totally up to you. The next question, I had no idea this existed. Do you recommend a social media manager? And how do you find one?
Yeah, absolutely. I recommend them. They are a little bit expensive. So if you're starting, probably it's going to be very expensive. They're expensive because they do a very specific job, uh, but they give results. And you can just Google social media managers and try to look for individuals. Like instead for a company, because a company is going to charge you way more. And I I work with a social media manager that she was helping me last year, and she helped me. Give her my goals, and she help me to establish some things, and then it's like you pay them for the sessions or X amount of work, and if you want to keep paying them like forever, you can keep going on, or you can just pay them like for them to give you like the points that you need, etc., etc. But then you need to do the work, because one of the things that she was always telling me is like she cannot do the work for me. She doesn't know my industry. She knows the things that may work. She knows the trends and what is popular now. Because you're like, oh, what are you talking about? And she, yeah, this is a trend. You do this. So those are things that you put out self. But there's also it's because I was also doing like some content creation. So if you want to do just like art, probably you don't need a social media manager just yet. You just need to start creating art and put it yourself there. In my cases, because I was doing some content creation thing over there as well. So I was doing a shift. That's what I got it. But if you're just like an artist, the one that put your art out there, I wouldn't advise you to go spend your money in a social media manager until you just did something yourself first.
Hmm. I am going to also put out this piece of information that recently, just this week actually, uh, Fran has agreed to record for us a few courses. We have a self-paced online learning platform called VANAS Plus. If you come to VANAS, it's included with your diploma courses, and she's going to be recording courses on how to do character designs. So it's a great way to be learning from Fran. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up.
And
Unless I
for I don't know what they mean, like if I can share my mailing list. I don't understand that question, because the mailing list is a list you have of all the emails people give you. And when you do that, please don't share it with everybody else, because this is people that is trusting you with their information because
right,
they want you, or they
right.
want something that you do. So if you treat their information with love and respect, you are going to have more. If you just have them and start like interchanging with other people, that would be very irrespectful to your
Right,
clients.
right.
but
They
but
can
it, what the,
contact us at info@vanas.ca, and if they want us to pass on their contact info or something, we can do it that way as well.
yeah, and also my offer of answer your questions that I didn't, because sorry, I talked too much on the first case study, is I still open. You can find me on my social media, on Instagram. Basically, Instagram is easy. Is my name, Francine Delgado Art. So go there, and you can send me a message telling me that you were in this tell me that you were in this webinar, and what was the question that I didn't got to answer, because it took me too much talking in the first place.
All right. Thank you, everybody, including Fran, of course, for taking time out on their busy weekends. Look forward to seeing you in the future. Have a great weekend.
Thank
Bye bye.
you. Bye.